Yo, what's good everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the 3 best strategies that I personally use to easily make over $500 a day trading meme coins. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get started. So the first strategy is going to be scalping. So if you guys don't already know what scalping is, what you're waiting for on these coins is you're waiting for big dips, right? Anywhere from 40 to 60% dips. And you're not really holding these coins for very long, right? You're buying them within, 5-10 seconds, selling within 20-30 seconds, right? You're in and out really quickly. And yeah, it's just what fits the name, right? Scalping. Swing trading would be a more longer term, within a couple minutes, hours to a couple days, right? So the first one I'm going to be breaking down is scalping, right? So the most important thing before I start talking about this coin, the most important thing with this strategy is being able to identify coins that are not rugs, that are not scams. Once you pass all these checks on the coin, then you're going to be able to scalp it, because if you don't do that, then you're basically just gambling, right? If you don't have an actual strategy, if you're not actually trading the coins that are good, you're gonna get completely rinsed, right? So this is why it's super important to not just have a strategy, not just understand all these different coins that you're getting into, but next is to also have a proper risk management. So how do I know this coin's already a rug, right? Just by looking at it. Well, it's super important. If you guys are not already on the 1 second chart, I highly recommend getting on the 1 second chart, because you're able to see every single buy and sell, right? Every single candle that happens within 1 second, which can tell you a lot, right? Let's say, because if you were on like the 1 minute chart, well, it just looks, it doesn't give you that much information. It's like, oh, okay, dev bought, buy, sell, right? It doesn't give you that much information. Yes, if you're on a bigger chart, right? A coin that's at like 100K market cap, you want to slim down onto those, bigger time frames. But when you're on a new pairs, anything that's, within axiom, like the, new pairs, final stretch, migrated, typically you're going to want to stay on the 1 second chart, maybe the 5 second chart if you're on migrated, okay? But it's like a rule that you want to stay on the 1 second chart, because when you see these coins that just barely come out, that have these, staircase coins, these are super easy to identify, right? Because you see the one big snipe, right? So it's the dev plus maybe some of his sniper wallets, and it has a very slow staircase all the way up, right? If this was any other coin, right, you would maybe start off, it dips right away, the dev sells, it goes up a little bit, and then it dips again, right? Goes up like this. But you could just super easily tell with this chart that it is a fake volume, right? And it's just a rug coin, right? Now, the thing is, some people, they're like, oh, but I still make money on the rug coins. But like, what's your risk to ruin, right? You're risking 100% of your portfolio, or like say you throw in one soul. You're risking 100% of your one soul, because when they hit the rug button, it goes to zero. Versus if you buy a decent coin, that won't relatively just go to zero in one candle. Maybe it will go to zero eventually, but it won't go to zero in one candle. So your risk of ruin, right? Your risk of completely destroying your position is a lot less. So this is why I wouldn't want to buy this coin. Another reason is because there, not really that many wicks. So if you guys don't know what the wicks are, here's a wick right here. So this is if someone bought and sold basically at the same time, you'd get like a wick that filled the order, and it's around the same price, right? So this, you could tell there's no wicks because nobody here was selling, right? It was just a constant straight flow up with very small buys, which is another thing to know. If it was big buy, yeah, here we have a tiny big buy, but mainly it was very small buys, right? So this is literally the full bundle. The bundle is in right here. So this is bundled up to like 60K. Sorry. So what they want you to do is they want you to get trapped within this area, right? They start faking buys, they start faking sells. And before you say anything about this wallet is a bot wallet. It's a wallet that snipes after migration. So it will snipe basically every single coin on migration, and it makes a lot of money doing it, right? Now, in order to copy trade it, don't do it, right? That's just dumb. But it makes money by sniping because it farms migration snipers. There's like a lot of other things that it does. But realistically, there's no point. There's not even a point of trying to sneak in the bundle, right? Because they know when you're in the bundle, they literally have like a P&L thing that shows, oh, when someone bought, how much they're up in profit. And once it hits that number, the button goes off and this goes to zero. So with scalping, right, you have to know this. it's not just buying low and selling high. Yes, that's kind of the premise of the strategy. Honestly, that's the premise of any strategy. But with scalping, it's even more important because if you buy into these coins on a dip and it's not a dip, it's just a rug, then you're going to get cooked, right? So it's super, super, super important. I know people take, a lot, like they take the presets right here, right? Like the bundler percentage super, super, super seriously, but they don't understand you can hide bundlers. These devs are getting a lot smarter. So they're like, oh, well, the coin's not bundled because it says 0.08. But they also mix the money, right? They mix it in liquidity pools. They send it to a bunch of different wallets before, different exchanges, and then they finally consolidate them. So how would you know if it's a rug, right? Well, you'd want to look at where it's funded. So this one was funded by Gate.io, 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 another Gate.io, Gate.io again, right? Gate.io, Gate.io. Like, do you know, like, who uses Gate.io? It's kind of weird, right? But it kind of helps you know, oh, all these top holders are probably controlled by the same person, right? Another thing you can look at is the tokens traded. So if they all traded similar tokens, that's another thing. Sorry, a little cough. So before I start breaking down what this strategy is, right? Because I said I was going to show you guys 3 strategies that I use personally. I want you guys to know how to find these coins first and how to understand what a good coin is, right? Because otherwise the strategy is useless. Otherwise, you guys are going to buy into these rug coins and just get absolutely cooked. So let's look at this next coin, Justice for Justice. So, like, what am I saying here? So, relatively slow volume, it looks like right now currently, because, I mean, we could look at the buys and sells, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Okay, so sort of volume, it's just slower, right? And that's just one thing that's, what's happening right now. It is very weird, right? Because look, Solana's already at 241. And, it went all the way from 200. So Solana's pumping, but the trenches are a little bit slower, right? So we're waiting for that retail to come in, which in my opinion, I think it's going to be coming very, 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 very soon, especially when we start breaking new all-time highs on Sol, Bitcoin, everything. Everybody's going to want to jump back in. Right now, we have a lot of big money that's accumulating. That's why the price is going up. So like hedge funds, all these big companies that are buying up Solana, buying up ETH, buying up Bitcoin, and then all these other people FOMO in. If you guys remember last year, how absolutely insane it was, we were dead during, August, early September, and then we started going absolutely crazy for the rest of the year. This is the best time to learn and the best time to learn these things. So you're not all around scrambling, oh, like, what do I have to do? So one thing too is obviously insiders, right? You don't want insiders. Insiders and bundlers are pretty much the same thing. The only thing is with the bundlers, they actually bought the token. The insiders will receive the token. So insiders are pretty easy to tell. It's really not pretty impossible to hide it because the blockchain can tell, oh, this wallet did not buy it. And then with bundlers, it's, their people are finding ways to hide it. This is why you have to do more in-depth analysis, right? So checking the actual bubble maps, which you click right here on Axiom. And look, we have bundles. We got a 12%, 4%, another 2%, 1%. So this is decently bundled, right? And why are bundles bad? Well, they can nuke the chart pretty hard, right? If they have 10% bundles, the price could go down like 30%. Not because they have 10%, right? 10% of supply, if they sell that all at once, the impact that actually would have on the price would be like 30%, just because the price impact, right? That's why if a coin's at $1 million market cap and you have 100K in it, you can't sell it all at once. You'd only get like 15, 20K because the price impact. So that's why you have to sell it off slowly if you have that much supply. So that's why you have to understand, okay, well, with these bundles, if there's a lot of bundles in the coin, you can also tell without even looking at it that the chart was bundled, because a lot of these bundles try to farm the chart. So if the coin just keeps getting, every time it goes up, it keeps getting sells and sells. Every time it tries to break, typically those are bundles that are offloading, and usually in the long term that will kill the coin. So that's super, 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 super important to know. Now, how are we going to be able to use this strategy, right? This is the thing that everybody's been waiting for. Well, we're looking for overbought and oversold signals. Now, if you've been trading for a while, you can kind of start to get this like intuition, what's overbought, what's oversold, right? This coin went up to 60K, took a nice dump all the way down to 30K, right? So always I say, look for a 40 to 60% dip before entering a coin where the current price is at, right? And well, if you were looking at this coin, oh, it went all the way up to 60K. So then it went down to 30K. So this would have been a good entry. Now, where would I look to get into this coin? Maybe 20 to 22, right? That's where I'd be looking to scalp it. And the thing is, you want to have good volume. If the coin is just slowly dying without any pressure, then there's no point of scalping it, right? Because then you're just going to be, it's going to be like catching a falling knife. You want to have something that has momentum, something that's moving. And yeah, like went all the way from 39 all the way down to 23. So I'd expect like this to have a tiny, tiny, tiny dip, right? So we'll just wait. Maybe we have one more sell. And never mind. Looks like he bought. Now, I don't want to get farmed by this guy. Let me see how much supply he's holding. He's only holding 2%. So I would think this could at least go back up to like 26, 27 for a little scalp. But you have to understand who else is in the coin, right? He's probably trying to get copy traders in or DCA into his position in order to sell, right? We could see his average price is probably around here, unless he bought at the beginning, which doesn't look like he did. But this is, for example, like one coin that I probably wouldn't like to touch. I kind of just bought for an example of like what would be a decent price. But the thing is, you could see it's losing momentum, right? So this is where you'd want to sell it. Now, let's see, we could just try to add a little candle here. Looks like someone bought. And, if it's starting to get a little bit more buy pressure, and then we could just sell on that. So what we're waiting for is like momentum, right? And I mean, I got a little bit GD on that candle only because like there's no momentum. As you guys could see, it was just super, super, super slow. Typically, like when you have a big dump like this, you get a decent recovery, right? For example, like we had this dump right here. It went all the way from 30, recovered, and it started recovering quickly. With this, what I'm seeing, yes, maybe it's possible that it could recover up eventually. And like, I barely made anything. I made $20, right? That's nothing. But this is to demonstrate, okay, so what I'm risking, right? If I were to just buy in this consolidation zone right here, well, the odds are like 50-50 that it goes up or down. And usually it goes down, right? Just because attention, this is an attention market. So what I'm seeing with this coin is, it's just dying out. It literally went down 50%, right? And yes, I picked up the bottom, but like it went down 50% and there's barely any buy pressure, right? There was like look, we have a little bit of a bundle right here, and maybe it starts to hold this floor, but you don't want to be playing maybes. You want to be buying the dip, waiting for a little bit of, you want to produce, oh wow, we had a 6-soul blast, 7-soul blast. You want to be waiting for a, kind of the volume to start to come back. Typically, if it's a coin that has good volume and it has a super fast dump like that, you're going to be able to sell onto volume when it comes back in. But with this, it's just risky, right? I mean, that was like the most random 7-soul buy. You know what I'm saying? Like for a coin this low. So right now, like these buys are really weird, like 5-soul, another 7-soul buy. Maybe it's the same guy, multi-walleting, whatever. But you don't want to be playing like the maybe what if game, and it's, you can call it being GD or whatever, but that's the whole point of scalping is, you're playing the volume, right? And typically you want to be doing the strategy when the volume is good. So for me, I usually like trading during, I guess Asia market or EU EU morning time. And I live in the US, right? So I'm on like Mountain Western time. And yes, the daytime volume is good in the US, of course, but it's usually less like GD. The more memes usually run during Asia market. Typically, in my opinion, versus US time, it's more like Twitter plays. It's better for Twitter plays. And yeah, like for this, like you could have never expected those random Solana buys to buy in. You know what I'm saying? Because it went all the way down. It just looked like it was dying. And yeah, from this big of a dip, I was expecting to actually have usually if I were to buy it here, I'd want to sell it like 28 to 30. That's kind of where I'm selling. But if there's no volume, like you guys could see there was barely any buys. Usually you want to see a big fat flash dump. Let's say it goes from 30K all the way down to 20K. You want to pick it up at the bottom, wait for some buy pressure, and then sell. That's literally what scalping is, right? Now we can talk about swing trading a little later, but you could see it could have been 50-50 odds, right? That those 7-soul, 5-soul buys were, they could have been sells, right? Because people got impatient, and that's usually how it is. Now, would I trade this coin again? Probably not. Even if it went to like 15 or 10K. The reason to that is because we look at the holders. Allo is still in this, right? He's got his price that he entered in at is not really ideal, and he still has to sell. So maybe if he were to sell, then you could be looking to enter, or maybe even at like 10K, because 10K would be pretty good enter. So he looks like he sold, and let's see here. The only issues with this coin is it's pretty dead, right? There's not really that much demand. There's not that really much buy pressure at all. So in my opinion, it's not really worth buying. Yeah, it is on a dip, right? But like I said, you look for 40 to 60% dips, but it has to fit that criteria. It has to be like, oh, it's getting volume. If it's a coin that's, let me go back to, let's go to this coin right here. Nope, not a good coin. And with the coins that I don't like, I just hide token on pulse, and that's like my way of filtering it, so I don't have to be clicking on it again. This looks like another rug coin. You can also blacklist the dev as well. Let's see. So like this coin just looks like a very weird chart, super bundled, just because look, every candle is 1 second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are not like one soul candles, as you guys can see. One soul candles are like this. These are like 3 5 soul bundles typically, right? Or multi wallets or copy traders, etc. So this is something you have to be careful for. Yes, if it's a crazy play, if it's a crazy Twitter play, etc., then sorry, this cough. then it's obviously gonna fly, right? There, shouldn't, like, if it's a crazy Twitter play, like an Elon tweet or something crazy happened, don't worry about trying to sketch out the bundles and everything. You just have to blast it because it's an attention coin. It's gonna fly, right? Insta migrate. But with these, like, you have to be careful. Wait for the bundles to kind of offload a little bit, and then also look at the top holders. So Casino's a big holder. We have this guy right here. Jeez, bro, this cough. But yeah, this is something, an example of decent volume, right? This is something where, oh, you see how the dip happened at 20K or close to 20K. It's not going to be exact every time, but it came down, and okay, now it looks like Casino sold. And let's see. Just seeing if he has any more copy traders that we're gonna sell. But you could see it was buying off of that. This has volume, right? If it didn't have volume, nobody would be buying those dips. But I still feel like this does need a bigger dip, especially after he sold. Maybe down to like 15, 14. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Looks like, yeah, it still needs some bundles to sell. We have a 3% holder, and let's wait. Maybe down to like 12 or 10. Maybe right there, that would be decent entry. Only thing I don't like is the buys are a little bit questionable. And there's still a couple bundles, but let's see. If they just keep nuking the chart, it's probably a good time to just get out. We'll see. All right, we'll just take that. So that's literally like what the strategy is, right? I mean, I guess I could have sold a little bit higher. But yeah, that's literally like the premise of the strategy, right? You're buying these dips. Yes, you're not going to get the bottom every single time, but you're looking for those entries. And it's very important. Like, for example, I could have made probably 0.2, 0.3 if I sold at the top there, but you're just, consistently stacking these profits, and your risk to reward, right? There's going to be way more demand for buy pressure on these dips than there is going to be sell pressure. And you have to like put your mind as another person, another trencher, and be like, okay, if the coin went down this long, if I was down on my position, how patient am I going to be if it just doesn't do anything, right? So yes, you're going to probably round trip profits if you don't hold. Like, I would be up, 0.5 right now, 0.6 right now. And yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a little bit more GD just because of the video, whatever. I don't want to keep it too long. But also, I literally did not do that much research on this coin. So, there's also, you have to understand bundles too. You want to wait for a good amount of these bundles to get out. It's not going to be all of them sometimes, but, you have to think, oh, Casino bought here. Oh, the coin isn't really doing too well. He's probably going to get impatient and he's going to sell. Same thing with Cupsy. Same thing with DV. Same thing with all these people that were or are in the coin, right? So now we have no tracked wallets. So this is what you're looking out for, because you don't want to be, holy, my freaking phone is blowing up. Let me turn on DND. So you don't want to be caught in getting dumped on by these people. That's like the worst thing that can happen. You do not want to be buying over them or like on top of them to be used as EL. And yeah, like bro, point one is nothing, right? But like it's just a demonstration. What I usually try to aim for is like point two to point three. I would say like 20 to 40% per trade, right? And you're just in and out of these trades really, really quickly, and usually trading with like 2 SOL per trade. But yeah, and then the thing is, if you guys are trading with like point one, then yes, like if you're doing 2 SOL per trade, it's going to be super, super, super easy to make easily over 500. That's only like 2.1 SOL in this market right now with where SOL's at. Actually, no, that's literally just 2 SOL. 2 SOL or 2.05 SOL. You have to make a day in order to make 500, right? If you look at it in the terms of dollars, it sounds crazy, but if you look at it in the terms of SOL, it's really not that hard as you guys think it is. And yeah, so for the next strategy, it's going to be swing trading, right? So swing trading is more, now ideally, I probably should have not have been so GD on this. I literally just didn't know what it was. I just was kind of just buying just because it was a dip. But let's see, Discord Assassin, so it looks like it was just like a reply to an Elon tweet or Elon reply to some tweet. So a swing trade, basically, you're kind of doing the same thing. You're looking for the same kind of entry, but you're looking to hold a lot longer, right? So a scalp would be from here to here, right? Or maybe from here to here, right? From the bottom. But a swing trade where you'd be like, okay, I'm buying here, and then I'm going to sell right here. And then if it dips again, I'm buying here, and you're selling here, right? You're waiting for these bigger moves. And the thing is, a lot of the time, especially when the market's slow, it's not really going to work out. But with the thing is, with swing trading, you can do it on bigger market cap coins, and you can size in a lot more instead of having to obviously, just do 2 SOL. Because with this kind of strategy with scalping, it's going to be like, 2 to 3 SOL max per trade, because otherwise you're going to make like a massive Drake candle and people are just going to sell on you, right? Now, yeah, you guys got to think about it. With let's just say we made 0.2, because if we would have sold up here, it would have been like 0.25 or something. All you need is like 5 to 10 of these trades a day, and this is in the span of like 5 minutes, right? And I literally am just picking out like random coins that I'm seeing. You could see this thing just died out. No buy pressure. If you look for coins that are getting actual motion, like with this, if you guys are trading these coins, you're going to lose, right? If you're looking for coins to get actual motion, actual potential, then you're literally increasing your odds by 90%, because most people get super impatient. They don't have any strategy. They don't know where to buy. They don't know where to sell. Another thing you can use as well with scalping is using RSI, right? Which is an indicator. So it's just called Relative Strength Index, RSI. And this will help you find overbought and oversold signals. So it gave us an oversold signal right here. So we can mark that. It literally told you to buy right here. And it gave you an oversold right here. So that you could have easily made from 50 over 110% gain all the way from here just by following RSI, right? Now, does RSI work on rug coins? Obviously not, right? But it's a really, really good tool to use to help you find these overbought and oversold signals. Now, would I buy this coin? Well, the chart looks weird, right? Look at how like bundled it is. Nobody bought it. It was like the staircase coins I was talking to you guys earlier about. It looks weird. The only time people bought was after, right? So this is something you got to be careful for that strategy specifically, and just wait for something good. It's not that hard to make 2, 3, 4, 5 Solana a day if you just wait for decent plays and scalp them. The ones I showed you were literally like 0.1. That's like a tiny, tiny gain. But if you want to be making that, if you guys are trading with 0.1 SOL, then be realistic with your expectations. These strategies are good for like 0.5, 1 SOL, 2 SOL. Yes, you can do it with 0.1. Obviously, make sure you adjust your fees and use your fees accordingly. But be realistic. If you have 0.1 SOL or 0.25 SOL to your port, don't be focusing on trying to making $500 a day. Focus on getting profitable first. Focus on actually building up consistency, and then focus on building up your port from 0.1 or 0.25 into a half a SOL or 1 SOL or 2 SOL port, and then you can start worrying, okay, let's try to make 1 SOL today. Let's try to make 2 SOL a day. So yeah, the last strategy I want to break down is going to be trading perpetuals. This is so underrated. Nobody talks about it, and it's like so free. And all you're doing is basically what I'm telling you guys, but you're riding the attention, right? you're riding the hype, and you can make a ton of money doing this, right? So for example, like this one called 6-7, I'm sure you guys have all heard about it. I do think this is a funny meme. I do think it has potential, but I was hearing that people wanted it to be launched on Pump instead of Bonk, right? It's currently launched on Bonk, and everybody thinks it will do so much better on Pump. So honestly, if they do launch one on Pump that starts getting like a lot of traction, this one, first of all, is going to nuke. And second of all, that one actually might be pretty crazy just because of how big the meme is. But with anything in literally the whole world, everything is about attention. The attention is slowly starting to fade away from this. And yeah, I mean, it's not like I hate the meme or whatever. It's just you have to understand that these are attention markets. And yeah, like you could see, for sure, I didn't get the perfect Pico top, but you know, I still got a decent entry. And what you're looking for is just overbought, crazy big candles on these coins. And you know, ideally it's even better if it's just something that you know is a rug, right? Or something that you know it's not going to be around in a week or a month from now. And you can size into these plays, whether you're using Quanto or Mexi, they're all linked in the Discord, of course. And yeah, that's the three strategies, right? Scalping, swing trading, and trading futures, right? Making money on the way down as well as making money on the way up, right? Because nobody talks about perpetuals, right? I don't know why, but it's super easy sauce if you know how to use it. Only difference is sometimes you have to wait a couple hours to a couple days for these trades to play out, versus with meme coins, it's like the instant, you know, gratification, like the TikTok brain, right? Like brain rot, whatever. Which, yes, there's a lot of money to be made in meme coins, but if you can kind of browse out your whole schedule or browse out your whole mind into all these different strategies, you're gonna have like money kind of working for you while you're trenching, or the other way around, right? So yeah, if you guys like the video, make sure you guys like that smash button, of course. Make sure you guys are in the Discord, of course, right? If you guys aren't in the Discord, you got to lock in. And if you guys want a bunch of free crypto bonuses, I have a whole entire thing in my Discord on all these different free crypto bonuses like Coinbase, Kraken, etc. So super easy if you guys are new into crypto, or you just want free crypto. I did all the hard work of finding them for you guys. So yeah, if you guys need 2 people to lock in with, make sure you're in the Discord. Make sure you guys are in the Telegram as well, because that's where I give out my free calls. And if you guys want my own personal VIP calls, I do have a VIP section in the server, which is like dirt cheap. You'll literally pay it off in like one good play, right? Which I can guarantee you, right? It's like we literally gave out like 8 calls in a row that hit, right? Over like 100%. But yeah, if you guys like the video, of course, right? Smash that like button, like that smash button. Make sure you guys subscribe and comment any future videos you'd like me to touch up on in the future. But yeah, thank you.